When we think about what makes a country powerful, we usually think of things like its military or its economy, right? But what if a nation's most powerful asset wasn't something you could count, but something you could feel? Today, we're diving into this idea of spiritual capital, a resource that you won't find on any balance sheet, but might just be the key to the future.
So let me ask you this. Can a country's economy actually run on inner peace? I know, it sounds like something you'd hear at a yoga retreat, not an economics lecture. But what if it's a serious strategy? What if a nation's real prosperity could be built on something as, intangible as tranquility and compassion?
Okay, before we go any further, let's get on the same page about what we're talking about. Spiritual capital, this isn't really about organized religion. Think of it more as the collective bank of shared values, things like fairness, compassion, a sense of purpose, that basically push people and their leaders to do what's best for everyone. It's the moral glue that holds a healthy society together.
So why are we even talking about this? Well, to really get why this idea of spiritual capital is popping up, we kind of have to take a step back and question how we've been measuring success all this time.
For, decades now, the goal has always seemed pretty simple. Make the GDP go up, right? Mainstream economics is built on this idea that we're all just rational actors, trying to get the most for ourselves, maximizing our own pleasure by buying and consuming more and more stuff. But people are starting to ask some pretty serious questions. Is more really always better?
And this slide, wow, it lays out the contrast so clearly. On one side, you've got the usual suspects of modern capitalism, self-interest, competition, the drive for more. But on the other side, you have this completely different approach, sometimes called Buddhist economics. Instead of self-interest, the core value is compassion. Instead of competition, it's cooperation. And the goal? It's not about chasing that next fleeting pleasure, but about achieving a really deep, lasting state of peace, what's called sukha. This quote from Professor Abhichai Puntasan just nails it. He's suggesting that maybe we need to completely redefine what we mean by happiness. It's not the buzz you get from a new purchase. It's the kind of wellness that comes from reducing pain and suffering, not just for you, but for everyone around you. That is a huge shift in thinking. Okay, so this is a really cool philosophy, but can you actually turn it into, government policy? Well, it turns out there's this really compelling analysis that connects these ancient ideas to a very, very modern plan.
And this is where it gets super practical. There is an analysis by a scholar from Ahatana Tejadamo that does something pretty amazing. It connects the dots between a Buddhist scripture that's centuries old and a potential economic strategy for Thailand today. And what's wild is how consistent the thinking is across all that time.
So the ancient text is called the Kuttadenta Sutta. In it, the Buddha gives advice to a ruler whose kingdom is just full of crime and poverty. And the advice is pretty radical, especially for back then. He basically says, don't crack down with punishment and force. Instead, fix the root of the problem by empowering your people economically.
And get this, the sutta lays out what sounds like a modern stimulus plan. Number 1, give farmers the seeds and tools they need to grow food. 2, give merchants the capital they need to start businesses. And 3, pay your government officials well enough that they aren't tempted by bribes. And the key thing here is that this isn't a handout. It's a targeted investment in the country's ability to produce, designed to build a peaceful and prosperous society from the ground up.
So Mahathan Rasana's analysis takes this ancient wisdom and argues that you can repackage it for the 21st century as a seriously powerful national brand. The big idea is to build Thailand's entire soft power strategy around one simple but powerful concept: world peace through inner peace. The thinking is that Thailand's greatest cultural asset, its deep, deep knowledge of meditation and mental well-being, is exactly what the modern, stressed-out world is desperate for. And this quote just gets right to the point. It suggests that all the conflict and problems in the world, they ultimately start from a lack of inner peace inside each of us. So if you can help people cultivate that peace, you start a ripple effect that could literally change the world. As a marketing message, it's simple, but man, is it profound. So how do you actually do it? Well, it breaks down into 4 main actions. First, you brand the country as the World Meditation Hub. This brings in what you could call spiritual tourists, travelers who spend more and are looking for genuine wellness. Then internally, you promote meditation to boost the nation's productivity and emotional intelligence. And finally, you use the thousands of temples you already have as community centers to tackle social problems at a local level.
But let's be clear, this isn't just some feel-good idea.
This is a calculated, strategic move in a global market that is getting incredibly competitive.
$10 trillion. That's how big the global wellness market is projected to be. Think about that. Health and wellness have become the new luxury, and countries all over Asia are in a race to become the leader in this new longevity economy. The stakes are just enormous. This chart shows you the economic logic perfectly. You can sell raw turmeric for, say, 40 baht a kilo. But if you process it, put some science behind it, and turn it into high-end cosmetics, that value can jump to 80,000 baht. It's the exact same principle with spiritual capital. A raw tradition is one thing, but if you brand it, systematize it, and prove its benefits, it becomes an incredibly high-value national asset.
And there is a real sense of urgency here. As Dr. Tanapul Viranhagaran warns, this is a race. Other countries in the region are eyeing this exact same market. The country that wins isn't going to be the one with the catchiest slogan. It'll be the one that can deliver real, verifiable, evidence-based results. It's not enough to just be the land of smiles anymore. You have to become the land of life.
So when you put this all together, what do you have? Is this just a really clever marketing campaign, or could it actually be a whole new way of thinking about how a nation develops? I just love this analogy from Fra Mahatana's analysis. He says a strong economy is like a powerful ship. That's great, right? But it's still just sailing on the sea of material wealth. But when you add spiritual capital, it's like giving that ship wings. You transform from a country that's just wealthy into one that's a model for the entire world, a kind of superpower of peace that shows everyone a better way to prosper.
This diagram shows you what that looks like. It's not just a straight line of endless growth. It's a virtuous spiral. It all starts at the bottom with wisdom and mental development, or panya, in the original texts. That leads people to make better choices. Those choices create a society that's more stable and peaceful. And that stability creates the perfect conditions for even more people to find that inner peace, which starts the whole cycle over again, but stronger. It's a system that actually generates well-being, not just more wealth.
Which really brings us to the final question. For the last 100 years or so, power has been all about GDP and military might. But as we face these huge global challenges, from mental health crises to climate change, maybe the very definition of power is changing. Maybe the most influential country in the 21st century won't be the one with the biggest economy, but the one with the deepest sense of peace.